Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome back to the Land Sandbox mode once again, because honestly, I'm just in the building mood. So today, in this little random video, we're going to be building a ramming bike, which will explode upon reaching the target. Now, bikes are a little bit funny in From the Depths, because they don't really exist outside of building them in a very specific way, so they look more like bikes. A good example would be, where are you here? The Copperhead from the Dustwind Gypsies. Now, where did that just spawn in is a very good question. There we are. So there's the little bike. As you can see, it looks really good, and this is a bit of a ramming vehicle itself, as normally it does simply hit the target. However, I want mine to detonate upon reaching the target. That is the main difference, and I want it to be a little bit different to the usual, because I don't want to use nukes or ammo barrels again. Instead, I want to use an autoloader with an ammo ejector. So the idea is the autoloader is filled with shells, the ammo ejector then simply throws the shells forward as soon as it hits the target. So in theory, it's like loads of cannon shots hitting the target all at once. I don't know how effective this is because honestly, it's just not something I've really done before, and that also goes for the bike. So is this going to be more difficult than I think? Honestly, there's a very good chance. So first of all, we need to have the engine. It doesn't need to be too powerful because it's going to be quite a light vehicle, but it does need to be there. And I'm somewhat tempted to go down the route of a single RTG and a single battery, but I don't think that would be enough. So we will probably just go with a rather small fuel tank. We also just want this on a single plane, most likely, so not the most efficient build in the world, just easy to fit into the bottom of the bike, since this will be on the bottom or in the main body. Small engine in place, so now, how are we going to do the autoloaders? And also, something I need to find out fairly quickly, and let's just find this out now, is would we need, put this down here like this, do we need, rather, the ammo clips? That's the question. The ammo ejector quickly fires all shells in the attached autoloader up into the air when the autoloader is destroyed. Beware, these shells are still active. Yeah, I know that, but would there be a shell just resting in the autoloader? I would imagine there would be, so I would also imagine then that adding more ammo clips would be beneficial to simply throw more shells. Though I'm not too sure about that, so let's find out, shall we? And then let's add the ammo ejectors just for now. Don't worry, this is not the final product. I just want to test how this actually works. Once again, never actually done this in the past, so this is a complete learning experience for me, not really feeding off any prior knowledge. Then we want the advanced cannons, we want the ammo controller, and then after that we need to attach these together so they're actually a proper gun. These are, how big? These are 3, aren't they? So let's say I'm making it 50mm. There they are, happily loading. So let's find out what happens if we destroy the ammo ejector itself, not the autoloader. I'm really hoping this still works because it means we can just have these at the front, then we ram the target with one of these, and bang. Probably just going to use a single autoloader in the end, though, since that should still be enough for a very impressive amount of damage. Please shoot them forwards, even though we're not hitting the autoloader. Oh, well, yes, that definitely worked. Now imagine all of those going off point blank. Yeah, that would be impressive. We are going to have fun with this. Ignore the dead body. At no point did I accidentally detonate the ammo barrels. That didn't happen. You're all going mad. Copperhead, welcome to the world under our control. I need to check something on you. So, how are you done, I wonder? I'm assuming you're going to have a PID system and/or an internal rotor. I don't know which, though. Oh, maybe both. Maybe both. Okay, you have one dedicated Hellblade spinner in here. Continuous at max. That's understandable. And what are you being used for? You have a roll PID and a pitch PID. Ooh, are you used for pitch, maybe? Would make sense, because I can't see anything else here which could be used for pitch. I see a couple of thrusters here, which I'm assuming are for roll. Yep, I am correct in that assumption. So, honestly, pretty basic. How do you turn? Is that with side thrusters, or... Well, thrust to go forwards, that makes sense. That looks like a repair thing, not a jet engine. Get it right, game. Control block, what are you for? Set drive faction to 1 upon what? If the height of terrain is less than. Okay, so that's how you're figuring out that stuff. That makes sense to me as well. Ammo's at the back. Don't quite know why you've got a propeller. Sorry, yeah. I don't know why you've got a boat propeller here, but you do. The missiles are on spin blocks, which actually looks really cool and a very nice touch indeed. There's the little engine, slightly weaker than the one we have, but that's no big deal. Okay, that's all pretty understandable. I still don't know how you turn, though. How do you... Oh, there we are. So, yeah, regular thrust for turn. So what AI would you use? Aerial? Yeah, aerial. Okay, that makes sense. Aerial's really good if you want to go directly towards a target and cause a collision. Ground can be good as well, but I've found it to be less reliable, weirdly enough. Which is weird, because I use ground AI for most of my airships, so I'm now going to use aerial AI for my bike. Yeah. Now, what about the wheels? That's a turning wheel. That's a drive wheel. Is it on? Yep, it's on regular. That makes sense. Okay, very, very cool. Let's go back to our bike and let's start building the actual body of it then. Now we have the basic premise underway. But first... Actually, what I could do... You know what I'm going to do? Let's rotate this towards the tank. Now, right now, the tank... Did I build this backwards? Well, yeah, that makes sense, since I haven't really been finishing it off. You can thankfully rotate builds in the save menu. People actually have been asking about that, so I will briefly cover that, since this is a build series. If you go to load in a vehicle, like this, there's a button here in the top right, rotate design 90 degrees clockwise, and that will permanently rotate it if you press it twice. If you've been building backwards, then of course it becomes forwards. Come on, tank, stop playing up. I just need you to spawn in there.
On my way. Listening.
There we go. Let's see how this works then. Well, one did get underneath and caused a fair bit of damage, but yeah, we need better shells than these. Probably with inertial fuses as well, just to make sure they go off. As you can see, they're kind of just crashing, since they don't really have a head on them. Still, I think that's going to work out just fine. Need to make it way smaller than this, though. A random thought occurs to me. You could probably have this as some kind of really weird defense system. You add this on the side of your tank or whatever you're building. When it's hit, you then eject shells from the damage section outwards towards the target. I don't know if you'd hit the target most of the time, but I think it would be a lot of fun. Now, one nagging question I've got is, when we do hit the target, if we shoot the shells from point-blank range, will the damage overlap badly? Will I still get the maximum amount of damage potential, or will all the explosions hit the same block and then all of that damage is basically being done to the same section? Destroying the section, but nothing else. Probably need better shells than this as well. Either way, let's just find out. Whee! Dink. Well, it's certainly an explosion. Yeah, it did seem to do exactly what I just said. Well then, perhaps having them a little bit further back. Or perhaps just with better shells. Let's try that again with better shells and see how that works. Test number 2. Oh. Well. That works. That went through so many layers of heavy armor. Now, with this tank, the tank we built last time, the heaviest armor is on the two sides and on the front here. Well, on the top of the front anyway. So for that to go through was really good. They were using Hesh shells. Less visually appealing, less explosion, but yeah, it flat out gutted the tank. It went straight through, killed the turret, and that's pretty much it. Now, thankfully, the turret itself is also using ammo ejectors, and that's why it didn't destroy everything nearby. It simply bored a hole into it, and thus it's still operational. Huh, go figure. Okay, so, better shells are better. Who would have thought? Okay, the overall shape is slowly getting there, and apparently I am being ran over by it, as it moves really, really slowly. And I've decided on the front we're going to have the tiny little auto guns. They're not particularly powerful, but I think they fit the style quite a lot, and honestly, it'll be quite fun seeing this over and over again as the bike races towards the target. I mean, it can destroy metal. Kind of. I doubt this will ever cause many fatalities, except for perhaps wooden targets, but it's something, and the only other alternative I really had in my head was either a very small advanced cannon or the, what are they called? The simple lasers. But the simple lasers didn't really fit the theme correctly, at least in my opinion. So, what I need to do now is add the AI, add the actual styling to the thing, because right now it's just the functional components and very little else. And then I need to remove the corpses which are around, and add the PID. So, let's get this sorted. Oh yeah, and I also need to flip the design finally. You know what? Why do you need a bike when you can make it fly with its turning thrusters? That's my question. I was gonna say something, but all I could see was this wobbling towards me. You having a giggle, mate? Swear on my mum. Oh, that is the best thing. So, this is... this is without the PID system. This, I can't look at it. This is the regular aerial AI trying to use this like a plane. It's not that funny, but it is for me. Oh, that is the best thing. That is the best thing. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything's okay. Okay, let's, God, it's been so long since I've done this. Is it this the way around I wanted it? Oh, stop, please. Oh, Lord. Oh, yep, it definitely turned. Yep, it's going the correct way. Oh, God, now it's worse. Yep. I mean, technically, it will get to the target. Fearsome.
Moving out.
I just want to make sure the control actually works. Let's jump off that, because that very well may detonate if it's going fast enough. Yep, definitely does. Okay, so that would have worked if the shells were loaded. Currently, there's no ammo customizer, but that would have worked just fine. Oh, actually, would it have? Oh, that's problematic. Okay, so we need to make sure the correct parts explode. That's actually a pretty big deal.
Moving out, moving out.
Let's get you healed up. Let's actually add the ammo to it and make sure it works. Then we'll have one more try whilst it's still in its silly form. And then, just then, I will go ahead and make it move more normally. I really should, shouldn't I? Okay, now with shells. Oh, beautiful. Well, there goes the front of the tank. Yep, that's exactly what I wanted to see. Okay, yeah, so it does work as it currently is. It just didn't go off because there weren't enough explosive elements. But yeah, I don't know if Hesh will be the best for this, but it certainly seems to work out just fine. I am tempted by just regular shells or heat shells, but we'll find out that as we go.
Yes?
Now, did you actually survive that, or am I going to have to respawn you in? Respawning it is. I think we might need some pitch control, though. Just thinking. Just random thought occurs to me. The funny thing is, right now, it's not far off being a thruster craft. It would not be difficult to convert it to a true flying drone, but I want a bike.
Moving out.
I can't bring myself to just stop it from shaking. Either way, though, it's now got a little bit of pitch control, which, as you can see, means it doesn't fly up in the air. It's currently going at 50 meters per second, but I think we could do a lot better. It also turns incredibly well. I think this would be able to chase down even very agile ground targets. And right now it only costs around about 900 resource, so it's actually quite effective. Also, when it fires, it kind of fires in an arc because of the constant wobbling, which also amuses me. So do I fix that or not? It's not an issue of if it's possible, because it really is, and it's very easy. It's an issue of should I? It would go faster if it wasn't quite as jiggly. I do like the idea of shooting everything in front of us. Okay, let's do a few more sharp turns.
Moving out, moving out, moving out.
Yep, it turns, like I say, very, very quickly. Absolutely no issues with that. So in terms of actual functionality, I think we've sort of nailed it. I'm really happy with myself right now. Okay, so let's do some finishing touches. And actually, we're pretty close to finishing this. Do a turn. Do a turn. Come on, you know you want to. There we go. Well, excluding any cosmetic additions, this is the finished product, at least in terms of functionality. It has a hidden rotor blade in the center, which is keeping it fairly balanced. Even when it tries to lift, it very quickly goes back to the ground. It has its little weapons, which are weirdly miscolored, which I'll change in a second. It has its weapon, which I have decided to keep with Hesh, as that seems a little bit more effective against the larger targets. And it does go a little bit faster, now going at 50 meters per second. Its total cost is 1,150, at least around about that in terms of resource count, making it still incredibly cheap. And I'm happy with it. And honestly, this is a personal preference. A lot of people will disagree. I love this style of build with almost no armor. It's just pure functionality. You can see all the functional components. It seems really bare and cobbled together. You can imagine it just being welded together and just thrown into the battle for its singular purpose, which in this case is to hit the side of the tank and completely crush the insides. So it's definitely better against the larger opponents. The guns are just there because hearing guns go off is fun. So I'm going to write it back up, and we're going to try to see if it can kill the tank in one shot, or at least kill the turret. That's really the main goal. Try to. There we go! Absolute destruction! You can hardly see anything happen when it actually hits the target because the shells immediately start their internal destruction. But yeah, it actually killed the tank. And as we've seen, this thing can actually withstand a lot of damage, so this is really designed to kill enemies with stacked armor, with limited space armor. Even though the tank does have space armor, it apparently hit the one section which didn't have that. And the amount of damage could be devastating. It's essentially unleashing 3 full ammo clips of 4-meter shells, which are completely warheads and the Hesh shell cap and nothing else. That's a lot of shots, all hitting the same-ish location at the same time, so I am really, really pleased with that. I wish it was a bit more shiny when it detonated. That's the only thing. Also, I really think that the guns, despite being fun, are completely useless. A small missile would do better. Even a harpoon missile, perhaps, although that would probably mess up with its AI. So, probably not a harpoon missile, but maybe a small EMP missile, a small frag missile, just something which is more guaranteed to hit. Those little guns aren't really going to do much. Well, there we are. The little test tank and the bike are the first two creations created in this little mini-series in which I just set out to build something which I either haven't built before or just really want to learn about. In today's video, it was learning about stability on smaller craft, it was also learning about the auto-loaders and how to weaponize them, and I've never actually built a bike in the game, so lots of things all checked off there. With the tank, it was just building a more standardized looking tank with a single weapon, which I still really like. It's definitely one of my better ground vehicles. So if you do have any suggestions for future builds, it doesn't have to be in the Ashes of the Empire style, which these two are, then please leave them in the comments. But with that, I'm afraid I'm all out of time, and if you have enjoyed the video, then of course, likes, favorites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths and random videos like this are things you wish to see continued in the future. There you go, I finally painted it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Oh yeah, I forgot, I also did this before I did the last save, and I completely forgot. Need more wooden builds. Wood just looks really good in this game, that's the problem. It instantly adds a lot of style, it's just a really nice texture. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.